are you? Welcome to math. Okay, we're working on cross multiplication. Disregard this because I was in the process of making a video and it just stopped making the video. Okay, so we're going to start out with some cross multiplication. This was a little bit of the do now today in class. Remember that we are doing multiplication, cross multiplication, because we have a fraction on one side of the equal sign and a fraction on the other side of the equal sign. These are very important things to remember, because although cross multiplication works well for these kind of problems, it doesn't mean that it'll work well for every type of problem. Something to keep in the back of the noggin right there. Hide. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to start off with the first one. I've got r over 4 is equal to 7 over 10. Again, I'm going to cross multiply. Alright, we could do this a couple different ways. I could make little arrows like this. I could bust out some multicolored markers. Look at that. Oh yeah. There it is. Okay. But I'm going to pick a numerator and a denominator, opposite sides, and multiply them by each other. So r times, remember that dot means times, 10 is equal to 4 times 7. So I have 10r is equal to 28. Alright, I divide by 10 because I want to do the inverse operation. Divide by 10. These cancel. 10 divided by 10 is 1. R is equal to 28 divided by 10 is 2.8. Notice how I made that into a decimal. Unless the instructions specifically say to leave an answer a specific way, I could have left this as an improper fraction. I personally chose to make it a decimal. It's easy, it's divisible by 10. That means I just take my decimal and I move it over a spot. So for me, I would rather leave it this way. Alright. So we'll do a little like terms real quick. Tina's have the video just deleted. So quick reminder, combining like terms. It's like I have a pile of red blocks and I have a pile of green blocks. My red blocks have an X on them and my green blocks don't. I want to make a pile of red blocks and a pile of green blocks. That's all. So I'm going to make up a problem. So we'll say 75 is equal to 3x plus 15. Okay? Again, I want my letter by itself. Letra ve sola firma. Okay? So I'm going to subtract 15. I'm going to do the inverse operation. That is to subtract, because I have addition right here. Alright, so now I'm going to subtract from this side. Why am I going to subtract from this side as well? Because when you see that equal sign, it is telling you that whatever is on the left-hand side is equal to whatever is on the right-hand side. So it's important that whatever you do to one side, you do to the other, so your scales stay equal. So this side cancels out. This side, I have 5 minus 5 is 0. 7 minus 1 is 6. Now I just bring everything down. I don't worry about anything else. I just bring it straight down to see what I have left. 60 is equal to 3x. Now the inverse of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 60 divided by 3 is 20. If I want to double check, I can do a little long division over here on the side. Okay, remember whatever is the numerator always goes inside the box. The denominator always goes outside the box. So I have 3 into 6, 2 times. 3 times 2 is 6. I subtract, I get 0. I bring down the next number, that happens to be 0. 3 goes into 0, 0 times. I knock on my 0, I got 0, I got minus, I got more zeros, I got zeros everywhere. Okay, so I've got 20 equals x. It's so beautiful. Okay. Alright. Remind yourself, at any point in time, you could stop these videos, pause, rewind, take a break, step out for a minute, whatever it is you need to do to not be overwhelmed. Okay? And these problems all work the same way. You do an inverse operation to go backwards to figure out what the letter is. Alright, that letter represents something. So in the last problem, that letter represented 20. It represented 20 of something. 20 what? I don't know. But it represented 20, and that's what we were trying to find. You may say, when am I going to use this? Well, remember when we did the sandwich situation. I want to know how many pieces of cheese I need for my sandwich. I know I have 2 pieces of bread. I know I have, I don't know, 4 pieces of meat. And I know I want to make 2 sandwiches. So I got to break it down and find out what else I need. Okay? You do this all the time. You just don't recognize it. So let's try a little bit harder combining like terms problem. So I'm going to say 6x plus 1 is equal to 4x plus 9. Okay? I'm literally making this up. It has nothing to do with the worksheet, I promise. Okay, so I like my letters on the left. That's just my thing. So you can do it however you want. But if you like it my way, then follow me. So I'm going to say letters on the left. So I'm going to do minus 4x because this is positive. That's positive, so I'm going to subtract 4x. And I'm taking the whole thing with me because I can't solve for x until I combine everything together. So this is 0. I subtract 4x from this side. I have 2x left. So now I just bring everything down so I can rewrite it and see where I'm at. I've got 2x plus 1 is equal to 9. I'm going to subtract my 1 because I want my numbers on the same side as well. Those cancel out. That's 0. 9 minus 1 is 8. I have 2x is equal to 8. Now again, I want to do the inverse operation. I'm going to divide by 2, divide by 2, okay? X is equal to 4. 8 divided by 2 is 4. If I want to go back and check my work, I know x is equal to 4. I'm going to leave that right there. I go out and I plug in 4 to my equation. And by plugging in, I mean substituting the number 4 for the letter x. So I've got 6 times 4 plus 1, so that 1 doesn't change. Now I have 4 times 4 plus 9. I've got 24 plus 1 equals 16 plus 9. 25 equals 25. I ask myself, does 25 equal 25? Yeah, 25 equals 25. Check, I'm done. Okay. Back to a little cross multiplication. Ow! Multiplication, yeah. Okay, let's make this a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to move on to number 4. I've got 2 divided by 6, or 2 sixths. 4 over the quantity, remember the quantity, n minus 5. Okay, again, I'm going to color coordinate a little bit here. I'm going to cross multiply. So I'm going to take my 2 times my n minus 5, and I'm going to take my 6 times 4. Cross multiply with the big X. So I'm going to start off with my number and my quantity here. So I have 2 times the quantity, n minus 5, is equal to the others, 6 times 4. Alright? Holy cow, there's parentheses. What am I going to do? We got this. We're going to distribute. So we're going to take 2 times n and 2 times negative 5. So I've got 2n minus 10. Alright? Equals 6 times 4 is 24. Again, I want to get my letter on one side and my numbers on the other. So I'm going to add 10 first to both sides. I want my sides to stay equal. 24 plus 10 is 34. I have 2n is equal to 34 because I just bring this straight down. I don't do anything to change it. Now I'm going to divide by 2, divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. A lot of people want to go 1n is equal to 34 and then divide by 1 again. 1 divided by 1 is still 1. It doesn't change. So when you do that, you're adding an extra step and you're making your life more difficult. Don't do that. 34 divided by 2. I thought I lost it again. I was going to be mad. Okay, so 34 divided by 2 is 17. N equals 17. Now what happens if I have a quantity like this on both sides? Well, that's what we're going to do next. So I'm going to start with number 8. I've got 7 over x minus 8 equals 8 over x minus 4. Again, I'm going to cross multiply. This time I'm just going to make big crosses, right, or a big X. So I'm going to distribute and have quantities and all that stuff all over again, but twice. I have it on both sides. So I'm going to start with my 7 times x minus 4 equal. So I did the top here and the bottom here. Cross, as in literally cross and cross. And we'll do extra jazzercise. Okay, so I've got 8 times the quantity, x minus 8. Can you flip these? Can you reverse them? Absolutely. This is just the way I prefer to do it. Now I'm going to distribute. So I'll bring my red back out over here so we can make this clear as a bell. I'm going to have 7 times x and 7 times negative 4. Over here I'm going to have 8 times x and 8 times negative 8. So I'm going to have 7x minus 28. 7 times x, 7x. 7 times negative 4, negative 28, is equal to 8 times x is 8x minus 8 times a negative 64 is a negative, or I'm sorry, 8 times the negative 8 is a negative 64. Okay? Whew. Now this looks familiar. This looks an awful lot like what we were doing with combining like terms earlier. So notice how we might be doing different problems, but they all go together a little bit. There's, one step here and one step here, but there's similar steps. It's almost like if I'm multiplying this problem and I'm multiplying that problem, I'm still multiplying, just multiplying different numbers, or maybe a few letters. We're mixing it up. Alright, so I still like my letters on the left. So I'm going to subtract 8x first. That's a big 0 and it goes away. Subtract 8x. This gives me a negative 1. I have 7. I'm taking away 8. Alright, I don't have enough to take away 8, so I'm now negative 1. It's like, I'm like, here, here's my arm. Take that as, tribute, maybe. No, I don't know. But you have to remember your integers, your negative integer, your integers, your negative numbers. The bigger number, that sign stays. Okay? Just think about it. So I've got 7, I'm going to do it over here too, minus 8 is equal to negative 1. So I've got negative x, because remember there's a little imaginary 1 right there. Bring everything down. Negative x minus 28 is equal to negative 64. I'm going to add 28 to both sides. 0, 0, plus 28. There. So now I have negative 64 plus 28. Again, the bigger number, that sign stays. The bigger number all by itself. I'm still doing the difference in the numbers, so I've got 64 minus 28. I need to borrow from my 6, so I have 14 minus 8 is 6. 5 minus 2 is 3. Alright, so my difference is 36. So if I was on a number line, there'd be 36 little tick marks from one number to the other. But I have to remember that I'm starting at negative 64. So here's my negative 64 way down here, and I move up 28 places. So I'm still negative because the 0 is way down there. So I start at negative 64. I come up, 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 up. Right? 28 spaces. That's where I land. So I'm at negative 36. So now I've got a negative x here, right? So I still have this left. And then here's this on this side. So I have negative x is equal to negative 36. And remember I said earlier, this letter, whatever letter we use, because it doesn't matter if we use X or W, needs to remain positive. Alright, so I'm going to divide by -1. -1. A -1 divided by a -1, negative and a negative, always makes a positive. So cross those out. I have X is equal to -36 divided by -1. Now it's a negative and a negative again, makes a positive, so I have positive 36. And that's my answer. Alright. That was beautiful. It was just amazing. And I'm so glad that you guys could